And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us on this cloudy Tuesday afternoon.
Now, wait a minute.
Waiting.
Wait a minute.
Waiting still.
Just to the south of the FM, Southern Valley's
Which
sunny.
direction is
They've got
that?
Sunny, down towards Wapaton. More sunshine there.
That way, right?
Yeah, down 29. Now,
Okay.
if you look north of us and northwest of us, it's cloudy.
Opposite direction?
Correct.
Right on. Okay. What
You did
about it?
flunk. You flunked geography, didn't you?
No.
As you shake your head, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Just checking.
So what's up there?
Your head, it's in the clouds.
No, that's right here. Well.
Yeah, no, it's in the clouds, trust me.
Okay.
I work with you on a daily basis.
Sure.
Bridgette will confirm that.
Bridgette's gone.
Did we lose her?
Yeah, she's gone.
I'm having such a fun time in here today.
That's
But
all
you're
right,
having so
Madison.
many technical difficulties there, aren't
And
you?
this show's just a train wreck.
The fact that we're on air is a miracle.
Let's wrap it up and call it a day. I think we've been on here enough.
Here's Bridgette. Here's
That's
Bridgette calling
Bridgette
in.
right
All
there.
right.
I'm just gonna
Take her
go.
call.
Hi, Bridgette. Oh, nope. Addison's got her. Hello. Hi, Bridgette.
There. Bridget has my phone because
Hey,
she
Bridget?
can't keep a video going. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you something here really quick. You got all your stuff, right?
I think so.
Okay, I'm going to need you to get all of it, put it together, and wrap it up.
I'm going to do what I can. 'Cause currently, I have been laying out in a cornfield taking video of our corn. And let me
What are
just tell
you
you,
doing laying in a cornfield?
well, I needed some beauty shots of some tiny corn. And you know
Word.
who stops by to take pictures of you laying in a cornfield?
The
answer to
photographer?
that is everyone.
The police.
All of them. Everybody who drives by.
What's this crazy lady doing in a cornfield? I'm trying to sweep up all the dirt. Leave me alone.
Just over here being a corn star.
Yeah, corn star in the cornfield.
So
I've
what-
seen a movie about that before.
What does it look like out there, Bridgette?
Our
Corny.
corn looks really good. Cute. Maybe slightly dusty. No, our corn crop looks good. We are just emerged out. We've got our first true leaf. Our soil temperatures are nice and warm. I looked at like uniformity of planting between plants, between rows. Everything is right on. This is going to be a fun year to raise corn. And there's a couple of volunteer soybeans. I guess they thought they were late to the party from last year, and a few weeds here and there.
Any kochia?
Yeah, there's kochia on the further end of this field. I can tell there was some
I gotta cut that
one
one
of our
in.
favorites.
I gotta cut that into a sounder. What day was that? Was that last Thursday?
I don't know. I already put it out of my mind.
I don't know. It's gonna come back in your mind very soon.
No, it won't.
Are you guys talking about kosher?
Let's move on to the forecast.
Go ahead.
Can I get a little screaming goat before instead of the regular
You
sounder?
can have anything you want.
That's what you're going to say if you have outdoor plans tomorrow, because tomorrow looks to be kind of wet. But today, not too bad out there. We're looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies throughout the area. Temperatures range in the low 70s from the FM area southward. But, boy, you go north and 50s and
what's up there?
60s around Grand
Ooh.
Forks. But you go into the Devil's Lake Basin, temperatures are still in the 40s.
Burr.
With the chilly rain up to the north. And we'll see highs reaching the mid-70s today with southeast winds about 10 to 20. We'll see a few isolated showers possible later tonight, lows in the low 50s. And Wednesday looks wet. Wednesday looks to be the wettest day of the week with numerous showers becoming more prevalent throughout the day. Highs in the 60s, that's it. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised some areas might get caught in the upper 50s. And then the sunshine returns a little bit on Thursday, low to mid-70s. Slight chance for an evening shower or thunder shower Thursday night and Friday night. But Friday looks dry and windy with highs in the upper 70s to near 80. And the weekend, we'll have temperatures in the 70s with a few isolated showers possible. So it's not a totally dry forecast, but the only really wet day is going to be tomorrow.
Take that back.
That's the way it is. You've got softball tomorrow. Sorry, Charlie.
Yeah, I got softball tonight and tomorrow.
And good luck tomorrow. You'll get it in tonight.
I'm not afraid.
You'll get it in tonight. So, Bridgette, did you run into, was Parker out there or was he busy?
Those guys are planting in a different field right now. I haven't seen them. I I can tell you that even though I am right along Clay County 26, you would think my service would be awesome, but no, that's why I'm on the phone. And I would try to call Parker, but there's only so many things that I think my phone will support at this point in time.
That's good.
Yeah, we don't want it to overheat
thing.
here.
Yeah, don't want to overdo it, but it's been a good day out here in the field. I'm a little bit hazy, as you guys said. Folks are planting like crazy. I was up to south of Mayville this morning, and it was just a good run of tractors in the field everywhere. Some sprayers are going. Folks are really pushing to beat any rainfall that we're going to get tomorrow.
Good. Yeah, get out there while you can. No doubt about it. And was it? Could our crop use a little moisture, or was it doing okay?
Right now it looks good here, and frankly, I realize you're going to send us moisture tomorrow, no matter what I think. But we're going to be just fine.
Good deal.
I think that's the polite way of don't make it rain anymore.
Yeah, could we have just a moment?
Absolutely not.
Well, that moment would be today. Mm-hmm. Enjoy that moment today.
Okay.
Yesterday.
There were a lot of all-nighters last night from here down through Iowa and into northern Missouri where it was not raining. Folks are just trying to get ahead of as much moisture as they can before the next rain shower.
Right, no doubt. And even over the next, because we're going into kind of a little stormier part of the LRC cycle, and boy, I'm like that Memorial Day weekend. I hope it's not a total washout. I know a lot of people want to get out and enjoy.
It is.
Yeah. Well, last year was nice, if I remember. That was one of the first nice Memorial Days that we've had in quite some time. But Memorial Day looks pretty darn wet. So not the best news. But
we're all used to it.
Parts of the Central Plains, though, I was reading up on some of the climate data from down in Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, and boy, they're actually quite a bit above normal in terms of precip. A good example, parts of Nebraska, which last May, the entire month of May, they only picked up under a quarter of an inch of rain, which is horrible for May. This year, they've already picked up, I think, over 3. So I think the Central Plains, which they were kind of in a pretty severe drought last year, and most of those conditions have really lessened, if you will, and some of the drought has been totally alleviated down in the Central Plains. So I think it's going to be a good year for most of us in terms of moisture. Now it's the timing of the moisture.
Absolutely. And there's already some nice looking wheat that is up that I've been past today. I know a lot of sugar beets went in the ground. That was part of my reason for going to Mayville this morning, was to get some empty pails that I'm going to be reusing, call that my secondhand business, but I use them in my garden. And, even the beet crop, people are very happy with where we're at for planted acres right now. And we'll start to see more of those planted acre reports soon. In fact, I think NDSU will send out their next crop and pest report tomorrow via email. For those of you who do not subscribe to that, I strongly recommend that you do. If you're curious on the link on how to go ahead and subscribe to that pest report, you can email me, ag@flagfamily.com. Call us on the Red Wing Shoe line, 701-293-9000, and you will get a weekly update email from NDSU every week that not only covers plant pathology, weed control, basically biology, soil science, pretty much anything that's going on, and then also from the various quadrants of the state research centers. So if you want to sign up for that, I strongly recommend it. It's great information.
Great. It is. We got some fun ag topics we'll be talking about during the course of this hour, a couple of them being a potential herbicide carryover to the 2024 season, as well as something going on down in Mexico and avocados, and a little bit of scrutiny that is going on with the avocados. They're a little under fire in Mexico right now. So we'll be discussing that, as well as some academy classes on soil health. And if we have time, we have a couple from yesterday that we'll try to get to. We'll focus on those 3 at first, and we got a couple minutes right now. Bridgette, why don't we hit on the Soil Health Academy classes really quick before we tease our guest?
Absolutely, and this Soil Academy is going to be held in Dyersville, Iowa. For those of you who really are transitioning from conventional agriculture to soil health building practice, you've got the opportunity to go to this farm to see it happening firsthand. The Soil Health Academy is holding this 3-day school June 18th to the 20th. The farm is Gibbsfield Farm. Not only will they be talking about regenerative ag principles and practices, cover crops, they also have natural raised beef and pasture raised hogs and how they fit into their regenerative cycle of farming and some of the practicality uses that they have. Attendees get a chance to really be hands-on when it comes to soil function, fertility, and health. And if you'd like to register, there is indeed follow-up video conferences to go along with it. There are scholarships available. Again, why don't you just email me, ag@flagfamily.com, and I can go ahead and get you the link for that. Seems to be a little bit easier than this, trying to go through this long, detailed link over the air. Just drop me an email, and I'll help you out with it.
And Dyersville, that's where Field of Dreams was filmed.
No,
Absolutely.
that was a cornfield, Dean.
Hey, maybe our field is a field of dreams. We don't even know it yet.
Could be.
We'll see.
We could roll a good old sod roller through there and makes a little baseball field in the center of it.
I'm sure Parker would love that.
Well, it's our field.
Yeah,
we can do whatever we want to it.
Well, Parker and Trigby might be a little bit concerned, but as long as we pay our cash rent, we're going to be fine, guys.
That's
we're
right.
Fine.
All right.
Let's go play baseball in the cornfield. Make some crop circles,
right.
scare all the UND pilots.
You guys discuss that with our guest today. He's in studio with you, I believe, and that is Brad Olson. He's the Steffes Auctioneers. Steffes Group is indeed one of our sponsors for Here We Grow. We thank them for the work that they do here and especially the work that they do for many of you. They've got online as well as in-person auctions coming up. And we're going to be able to talk to Brad specifically today regarding equipment, what's going on in used tractors and combines especially. So we'll do that and more right after this. Oh, rain, rain, go away. Come again another day. We just don't need it, you guys. We got to finish planting first. Oh,
Well,
so
those
many
aren't the
great
words
things
to the
going
rest
on.
of the song.
I like it. That's pretty
Little
good.
Bridgette wants to play. Isn't it something like that?
I thought so.
I'll have to go figure that out. But I just knew that much right off the top of my head. How's that?
Hey, good for you, though. It's more than I know.
So I bet we don't know nearly as much as our guest does today, and that's Brad Olson. He is with Steffes Group, and they are one of our Here We Grow sponsors. Brad, hello. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing fine. Great to be here.
We love it when you do. You've got great stories. In fact, I'm still kind of hung up on the one where you sold out the general store and had to sell ladies' brassieres. So thanks for coming back. I can't believe you did after that story.
Well, they call it a one-hit wonder, and I'm just glad that it just made such an impact on you. But I'd like to think that I'm known for selling better things than ladies' underwear.
You are indeed, even though some of your customers found it very uplifting. But
Yeah, that was good.
Yo.
Also, I'm the only one on the show today who can say that. So now, as we move on to other
As
things,
far as you know.
Brad, give us a little background on Steffes, if you would, please.
I sure will. Steffes has been in business since 1960. My uncle, Bob Steffes, started the company. Scott Steffes is the present president and owner. And it's been truly a privilege to work with a family company. And I get the honor of saying I'm the old guy in the office now. And like I said, I've paid my dues, and I've got to see market trends, got to see a lot about the auctions. And it's just something that Steffes has evolved and grown. We sell real estate, we sell farm equipment, construction, pretty much the whole gamut. And it's really been an exciting career for me. It's been very rewarding, but it's also been challenging because we are directly involved with the day-to-day with some of our sellers. And when you go through market cycles and market trends, that becomes a real issue because when things are good, of course things are good. But when things start trending down, it does become a concern, both on cash flows, commodities, and the what ifs. And also, we have to talk about the how people react to those different situations. And when things start trending lower, you really have to be cognizant of what the seller is expecting and also the promises that you're trying to make as far as the market. And it's exciting. Don't get me wrong. I love my job, but we are in some challenging times right now.
And challenging is an easy word. I mean, I've got questions for you, Brad, but they are so all over the board, and I just apologize if it feels pretty sporadic. But
fire away.
One of the things I noticed when scrolling through your website in regards to upcoming auctions and knowing what's happened through the winter months, I felt like I saw a lot of retirement auction sales. Do you feel that is more frequent, or is it just a normal number of retirement auctions that are happening?
I think the number of retirement sales is conducive to the people that are controlling the assets in production agriculture. When you look at the people that are retiring, most of them have been in their upper 60s to actually upper 70s. And we're in that period of time where we have that transition of wealth. And in production agriculture, it's a cycle. The thing that I would probably make more mention of is that we are on a record pace for dealership equipment auctions. And that's something that is becoming the forefront, and we're doing a lot more of those. The farm retirements are coming in, and I would say at a normal pace, but as people see commodity prices going down, machinery values somewhat clicking down, they're saying, oh, what? I think it's time for a retirement sale, and cash rents are still holding well, so they're looking at it as a good opportunity to get out. So I'm not saying the sky's falling, but we are in a transition period in production agriculture.
You really brought something to light that I was going to mention as well, and that was seeing more dealer excess equipment auctions, inventory reductions, et cetera. If you think back just a couple of years ago, we kept hearing how there was going to be such a shortfall of equipment in the market for everyone. But all of a sudden, I feel like inventory on lots are high, and that I'm seeing more of these inventory reductions, excessive amounts, et cetera. How do you think that looks right now compared to where we were 2 years ago?
Well, your observation is absolutely correct. And you have to understand when commodity prices are high, what does a farmer do? He likes to update machinery. And with COVID and some of these constraints that happened through that period of time, there was a break in the availability of good quality equipment, especially on the new side. You had to wait. When people were doing their trades, these multiple unit discounts, they were trading full lines of equipment, and they were doing that every year. And that kept up the mothership, I should say, as far as production. They wanted to keep the factories going. It was all stockholder driven. And when commodity prices started to dissipate, like 30% off, all of a sudden that trade value and also interest rates. I think interest rates is probably the biggest factor. These guys that were doing contracts, purchase money secure contracts at 2.9% and 3.9%, if they wanted to trade, they would lose that low interest. And now it's 6.9 to 7.9, and you're talking $400,000 to $800,000 pieces of equipment. That really affects the cash flow and the bottom line.
Yeah, you think? I mean, my God, that amount of cash flow, not easy to come by.
Yeah, that's so true. And you think about, the prices of the new equipment have raised continually every year. And that is becoming a major factor. So when you start seeing excess inventory on these dealer lots, and the only thing they can do is to, implement a plan of action to mitigate some losses on, like, say, floor plan. If their floor plan was at 4% interest and now it's at 7.5%, that's a huge hit to their bottom line as far as these dealership groups. Like I said, I'm not saying the sky's falling, but I think they're dollar cost averaging. We all know that everybody had some very good years here the past 5 to 7 years, and this is a cycle, and this has happened before. I can go back into the 70s because, yes, I'm old enough to remember that, when wheat was $5 in 1973 and the price of a 4430 John Deere tractor, 145 horsepower tractor, was about $30,000. Well, this year, wheat is $6 a bushel, and that same tractor, if it's a MFWD, will be about $275,000. Bridgette, you do the math. That doesn't work.
I'll be honest, I don't do math. That's why I have Justin. So I think I get your point, though, Brad.
The math don't
I think
work,
I really
Bridgette.
do. You're saying our checkbook for our project on our corn this year is not going to help us get there? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much so. We need rebound. Everybody'd like to think that if we could get in that $5 cash corn and get back to $12.50, $13 beans and get back to $9, $10 wheat, it's going to help a lot of people's bottom line. I think that the people that kept their powder dry and saved are going to have an excellent opportunity to purchase good equipment. I think these values are going to correct from December of 23 to May of 24. We're off a good, strong 10 to 12% straight across the board.
Here's a question for you, Brad. You had mentioned a little bit about prices and where they were to where they are today, with $5 corn down to what, $4, $3.50 is it now?
Well, corn is down on the cash price. I think the futures are at $4.60, $4.70. Don't quote me on that. There was sub $4 corn. I think right now we're a little bit above $4 right now.
And then soybeans are down and wheat was down, as you had just mentioned. Why do you think it is? Because a lot of our audience is non-agricultural background. They don't know how the farm economy works. What's driving those costs to be so low compared to where they were a few years ago? What's the issue here?
Abundant supply. The American producer is the best producer in the world. And when you start talking geopolitical, the Ukraine, that was a big thing as far as a financial boost to production agriculture. Those are some of the things that come into play. We just have a lot of surplus inventory, and our exports are being curtailed through our geopolitical system there. And, production agriculture feeds Main Street. And when the farmers are strapped for cash flow, they don't spend the money. They're the quickest one to close up the checkbook, and they're going to wait until things become viable. And it is something that has happened in the past. Like I say, it's cyclical, but we're in one of those downtrends, and it's something that people need to be aware of.
So do we need, and you hate to wish ill will on one part of the world, but do we need drought conditions in, let's say, South America to
Yes.
boost the prices up here?
I would say that that's a double-edged sword to wish
Right.
for, because we want everybody to succeed in business. But when we are so weather affected by production agriculture, you look at how dry we were to start of spring of 2024, and then now we've been blessed with the rains, and now to the point to some people, they'd like it to stop raining for a little bit just so they can get the crop in. But I was in Nebraska here a week and a half ago, and I traveled the whole state of Nebraska, and I would say there wasn't 10% of the corn crop in. So there's where
It's
we
been
had
too
our
wet.
been too
Yeah.
wet. And you take that into consideration, so markets do that. And it's driven by futures, and it's driven by fear, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And Brad was way more politically correct than I, because we've long time known that in order for us to have great prices, there needs to be a disaster somewhere else in the world. And you're right. That's not nice. It's not fair. But we're also not into this for volunteerism. We're here to make a profit. That's what we do, right?
That is so true. And that's one of the things that probably is going to shake out the most this year. If we do stay low on commodity prices, these inputs have to come down. And these manufacturers, the major manufacturers that are out there that are in the business, when the farmer's making money, they are raising their prices to a point where it is sustainable for them. And it's also where they say the farmers can afford it. This is a complete inverse this year. Every input that is involved in production agriculture, prices did not come down. And the prices of the commodity that the producer receives came down anywhere from 25 to 30%. And that's significant. And that will adjust. And the supply and the demand side of that will make that happen. But for right now, there's a short-term squeeze. I'd call it a short on production agriculture.
Very interesting, Brad. Well, we got to hit bottom of the hour news. If you're listening, you got a question, feel free to reach out and get that question asked. Give us a call on the Red Wing Shoes shoe line. That's 701-293-9000, or email to the program, which is weatherorag@flagfamily.com. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. I'm not serenading you all this time, but there'll be another day. I bet it'll happen. Thanks for
Nice.
joining us here on Weather and Ag in Focus. So we have with us in the studio today Brad Olson, Steffes Group. And Brad is one of our sponsors with our Here We Grow project, as is the entirety of Steffes Group. One of the others would be Dakota Bank. And thank you to Dakota Bank. These seem to go hand in hand on a day like today. If we're going to talk about equipment, purchases, auctions, we're going to need a bank to finance them, and Dakota Bank would likely be one for you. They are based right out of Aberdeen, South Dakota, have an office here in Fargo. Ag lenders ready and willing to help you at any time. Brad, one of the questions I wanted to ask you about today, and you sort of made mention of it earlier, when you look at the four-wheel drive tractor market, especially great big four-wheel drives, think about John Deere's new, make sure I get the number right, new 9RX, and then you also look at their new combine. I mean, first of all, A, they're gorgeous. Two, they're huge. But how limited is that market when they come out to be a used piece of equipment in 2 or 3 years from now and somebody wants to upgrade? What are you seeing as far as changes in, maybe a loss from that retail point of sale to an auction, or the change, I should maybe call it, in selling prices?
Well, that's a very good question, and we do have the data to back up this statement. If you look at John Deere's large X9 1100 combine, without heads is probably just under $900,000 list. With heads, you're probably tickling 1.2 to 1.3 million, depending on what kind of heads you buy. That second owner of that combine is not there. And we're finding that out. And when you consider the volume of product that goes in those high-capacity combines, we did see quite a discount with that 1 and 2 year old machine, probably the tune of about 40%. And that's a staggering number. But when you look at the sheer cost, I think John Deere's new 830 track machine, the largest production track tractor that's being manufactured, except for Big Bud, I think that tractor lists for $1.13 million. And that's a big number. And so those things that are out there, those that can afford it, they're running a very large operation. They're farming and using that piece of equipment on a per hour basis, and that's how they're figuring their cost. But the recovery on that to the second and third, that individual, what we're seeing out there in the marketplace is not there. And some of that has to do with fear. If you take a 500-hour X9 1100 that is combining 300 bushel corn, when you consider the sheer volume that's through that combine, it's perceived in the marketplace that it's wore out. And with the cost of repair, the cost of parts, people are shying away from that. There again, I'm not trying to poison the combine market, but the reality is the data that we provide to both our sellers, and we also try to convince a buyer's pool that there's an excellent opportunity out there. And the people that are realizing that opportunity are taking advantage of it. And, that's why they're coming to us, because one, our product knowledge, two, we know how to market and promote, but, we bring the market. And Scott always says, don't shoot the messenger. And there's some strong statement in that. When you look at a world market, when we're producing, and these people are selling these pieces of equipment, why is it that same combine is 30% less in Ukraine? You think about that. Because the major manufacturers charged what the farmer will bear to pay. And that's a true statement.
And I'll take it, Bridgette. So, Brett, how many auctioneers do you guys have?
Oh, gosh. Live auctioneers were dwindling because of the online platform. And I'm going to say that we're probably close to 20 between the different locations. So like in Fargo, live auctioneers, we have Justin, we have Max, and we have myself. Okay?
Okay.
So that takes care of the West Fargo. If we need help, we go with our Litchfield office. We got the Gillespies. We got Ashley Hune. And we have like a bunch of auctioneers in the stable is what I'm going to tell you. And with the depth of distance, we just travel. Like we're going to jump in and load up the hauler, and we're going to go to Isabel on Thursday, and we're going to conduct a nice estate sale. And for me, I get excited about that because that is the interaction. It's so important to have that interaction with your potential buyer.
Now, you said last time you were here that you ended up having to auction off ladies' underwear, which is interesting within itself. Is there any items that you've run across where, no, we can't auction that off. We can't.
Well, right offhand, I can't remember. I like to say I can sell anything. I was told that I could sell sand to an Arab one time, and I said, I don't know if that was a compliment or not, but nothing's really sticking out right now. We always like to make an observation. What we are shying away from right now, in all reality, back in the day, Bob Steffes, we sold pot and pan sales, so household sales, okay? And and Bob would say, that pot and pan sale could lead to a farm equipment sale because those farmers have wives, and those wives come to a pot and pan sale to buy a teacup or a place setting or something like that. And that farmer's going to be back there watching that auctioneer. So his advice to me was, you work just as hard on a pot and pan sale as you do on a $10 million auction.
Good point.
And it was so riveting, and it stuck with me. And because somebody's always watching. Okay,
Right.
like auctioneers are in a fishbowl, and it's perception and how you are perceived in the marketplace. And trust is everything. And when you are perceived to know what you're talking about, and you're perceived to be calling it square, you're going to be successful, and people come to you. But it's really been a rewarding career. It really has.
Great.
So what are you guys doing more with today? Is it more in-person auctions or is it online auctions? Which way has this been moving?
Good question. We are gravitating to more online just for the simple convenience. There's things that we have within our platform, and we've been very privileged to get to have a platform that's going to be beneficial to our sellers, and it's becoming very advantageous. And one of those things that we do within an online sale is linking of lots. Meaning if you have 3 identical tractors or 3 mechanical front-wheel drive tractors, we can link those lots. Whereas a live auctioneer, I only can sell choice. When you link the lots, all 3 lots stay open until the last bid's received on each one of those lots. So what that does, it enables a buyer of lot number 1, if he gets outbid, to take his money to go to lot number 3 and still have an opportunity. Whereas a live sale, if I say choice, it's sold, he takes 1, it's gone. He doesn't get to come back and change his mind.
And what are you seeing more in terms of online and live auctions for things that are selling? What's more of the common things that are going right now?
Boy, we're selling it all. We're doing even down to shop equipment, and we've done exercise equipment. We've done it all because there is a market out there. It's not any different than your Craigslist or your eBay or anything like that. But when you have somebody that has a complete line of equipment, they obviously have to have shop equipment. They obviously have to have parts and support items. And it's something that it can be all encompassing. We just load up a pallet, we identify it, we take pictures of it, and we sell it. And it's worked out very, very well.
So during a live auction, how many things are you selling in a day? Or how many things are going up that you're trying to sell? How many items, I guess, per hour are you trying to get to?
Well, in a live sale, like say, for instance, the sale that we have for the McGinnis family down in Isabel, South Dakota, I think there's 140 internet lots. And then we call it farm style after that, where we have trailers and we have pallets of smalls. Bridgette can remember from the sale that we did out at Page last year. She got to witness what we did there. We didn't start the internet until we were done with the pallets and the smalls and the trailers. And so an average on trailers and smalls is about 100 lots an hour. And then when we get to the internet lots, as far as a live auctioneer, we're in that 30 to 35 lots an hour, depending on how many sales pitches I got to make.
Cool.
And Brad, AI has been the new up-and-coming thing. It's starting to get incorporated into some of our weather models now. Do you foresee AI helping or hurting the auction business?
That's a good question. I really don't have a thought process on that yet because, they're going to be able to glean the data, but the actual sale results are going to have to be based on the actual sale itself.
Right.
Okay. And, there's an old saying, you're only as good as your last auction. So when you're out making your pitch and you're talking to people about a potential auction, where's the market heading? Well, this is what we've done in the last 60, 90 days. We have all of that data in our system. So basically, Steffes has their own AI program in place because we have all of those resources. We know when they push the button to bid, what time of day they push the button to bid, and we know how many times they visit our website. And that's all very critical information for us, and it helps us for that competitive advantage for our competitors. And when somebody hires us, we make sure that we tell these people that all of the resources and all the tools in our toolbox are available to that potential seller, so they know that they're getting 150% of our services. So, because we're commission driven,
Right.
we want to make as much money for the seller as we possibly can. In turn, that rewards Steffes. Hence why I like my job.
No, yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
So, Brad, you have answered so many fantastic questions for us today, and we greatly appreciate it. I know I have 5 or 6 more. That just means we'll have to ask someone from Steffes to join us again, whether it's yourself or Max. We'll have plenty of things to talk about with what's going on in the region when it comes to farm equipment, land auctions, and so much more. And I got to ask, where will people find you if they wanted to look up an auction from Steffes Group?
Well, they can call our West Fargo office, and that's 701-237-9173. And I think just about everybody knows my cell phone, but I'm not going to give that to you.
You got a website?
Yes, we sure do. SteffesGroup.com.
Awesome. SteffesGroup.com.
Thanks for joining us today, Brad. And to everyone who's listening, do not go anywhere. You're going to want to hear about Dean's smoky forecast, where that's going for us. And we'll touch on why those avocados from Mexico might not be so great. We'll talk about that and more coming up.
And welcome back to the program, 153. We got a rundown on the forecast coming up here in just a moment. And just got done speaking with Brad Olson from Steffes Group. A fun little conversation there. You can go back and re-listen to it if interested on the website, WDAYradionow.com, or you could watch the past live stream on our Facebook or YouTube channel, Weather and Ag in Focus, which is also where you can watch our Here We Grow series, where we're growing 20 acres of corn. You can find out exactly what it takes to grow 20 acres of corn. Before we get a rundown on that forecast, you want to sneak in here quick, ask a question. 701-293-9000 is the program phone number. We're going to hit one of our ag topics, and this one could be a little interesting, and it might be a culprit for all the smoke in the area, and that's avocados under fire in Mexico.
Well, they're kind of a different situation, but for all of you guac lovers out there, hold on. Here we go.
Holy
The drought
guac.
in Mexico. Yeah, it's holy guac, all right. There's been a drought in Mexico just dragging on, and
Nice.
there is a state within Mexico that's called Michoacan. I hope I'm saying that right because, again, this little German kid trying to speak Spanish is a horrible accent. Nonetheless, there are a lot of small farmers. They're called subsistence farmers who have been taking direct action on the very thirsty avocado orchards and berry fields that are drying up in the mountains west of Mexico City. The problem is there have been rivers, lakes, and streams in that very lush area for many years. But with current drought, what's happening is the avocado farms, which are usually either owned by the cartels or having to pay protection money to the cartels, are nervous, and they have been creating natural dams. They're building up water and ponds. They are putting in illegal irrigation pumps in order to feed their avocados in order to create money to keep things going for the cartel. So there are actual little towns that no longer have water. Crops are not getting watered, neither are livestock. And so these earth and containment ponds have really created massive problems. There have been protests. There are some of the local subsistence farmers and townspeople are hiking into the mountains and breaking open these dams or taking axes to the irrigation pumps in order to try to get water to flow once again. And the Mexican government might get involved because one of the towns being affected is a heavy tourist area. And the government likes tourists coming to town, and that might not be the case without water. So there's a whole big balance of situations going on. So hold on to your tortilla shells. The avocado situation might be getting worse.
Very interesting. I'm growing an avocado at home right now. It's about a foot tall. Grew it from a pit, from a seed.
You're gonna want to step up your production. It sounds like we could be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I'm working on it. One tree at a time over here. The mango tree is next. I got the seed, but I haven't started it.
Well, I can't wait to see how it does. I hope it happens before I hit the retirement home.
Yeah, hopefully a few years down the road we'll be having a couple avocados and a couple of mangoes of 5 to 10, maybe 10 years down the road. Apparently they take a while to grow.
It's going to be one of those rare blooming plants that comes alive and only blooms at night, etc., that kind of thing.
Well, I got the banana tree. That's doing pretty well still. I
Very
think
nice.
I've had that one for 3 years now.
And avocados are only perfectly ripe for about 30 seconds, so don't miss it.
Exactly. All right. Well, we got a minute and a half. Bridgette, do you want to hit on the potential herbicide carryover really quick, and then we'll run down the forecast before we sneak out of here?
We've got a little less potential for carryover this year only because we've had good rainfall. For those who are no-tilling, if you've got standing stubble, make sure that you are following all the label guidelines. Do double check in case you would run into any problems with potential carryover, but that should in fact be less of a concern this year than we've had the last couple of springs.
Right on. And a quick check on the forecast. Dean, what's it look like out there?
You don't want to give the good news?
What would you consider the good news? That it's going to rain or that it's going to be warm?
Thursday and Friday after the rain.
Thursday and Friday after the rain.
Yeah, we do have some rain in the forecast. The best chance of rain coming in tomorrow. There's a few scattered showers in the far northern valley and a little bit of light rain trying to reach the ground just to the west of the FM area. But for the most part, the rest of the afternoon should be pretty dry around the FM area. with temperatures currently in the low 70s. We'll make it up a few more degrees into the mid 70s with southeast winds on the breezy side. A few isolated showers possible late tonight, down into the 50s, but the best chance of rain coming in on Wednesday. Looks pretty wet, and as we go throughout the day, the rain chances will continue to tick up. So if you have outdoor plans tomorrow, probably not going to get a whole lot done with temperatures in the 60s, but then we dry out Thursday and Friday. Turns windy on Friday. 70s Thursday, near 80 on Friday. Now, there is a slight chance of overnight storms both nights, but does not look like a big deal. Tomorrow being the wettest part of the next week, it looks like.
All right, well, that'll do it for us. We're back tomorrow, 1 to 2. Jay Thomas show's coming up next.
I just thought I'd give you the wind sound effects.